Privatization on national economies. Introduction. Privatization, the process of transferring ownership of state-owned enterprises to private hands, has become a prevalent economic strategy in many countries. It is often pursued to improve efficiency, reduce government debt, and stimulate economic growth. While privatization can offer significant benefits, it also comes with challenges and risks. Its impact on national economies varies based on the methods of privatization, the sectors involved, and the broader economic context in which it occurs. This paper aims to explore the effects of privatization on national economies, including both the potential benefits and the possible drawbacks, with a focus on economic growth, job creation, income inequality, and public welfare. Number 1. Defining privatization. Privatization refers to the transfer of ownership, control, or operations of public sector entities to private individuals or corporations. This can take many forms, including full or partial asset sales, public or private partnerships, or outsourcing of services traditionally provided by the government. Privatization can occur in a wide range of sectors, including utilities, transportation, healthcare, education, and financial services. Application. In the UK, the privatization of British Airways and British Telecom during the 1980s and 1990s was a landmark in transforming large state-owned industries into private entities. Number 2. Motivations behind privatization. Governments often pursue privatization to achieve multiple objectives, including reducing budget deficits, increasing the efficiency of state-owned enterprises, and encouraging private sector competition. Privatization is seen as a way to attract private investment, improve service quality, and stimulate economic growth. Application. In developing economies, privatization is sometimes part of a broader economic reform agenda aimed at modernizing infrastructure and reducing the financial burden of maintaining SOEs. Number 3. Economic growth and efficiency gains. One of the key arguments in favor of privatization is that it can lead to increased economic efficiency. Private companies, driven by competition and profit motives, are often seen as more efficient than state-run enterprises. Privatization can lead to improvements in productivity, cost control, and innovation, which can contribute to overall economic growth. Application. In the case of the privatization of the energy sector in Chile, competition and investment from private firms led to significant improvements in energy efficiency and the expansion of infrastructure. Number 4. The role of competition in privatization. Privatization often introduces or enhances competition in markets that were previously dominated by state-run monopolies. Increased competition can drive down prices, improve service quality, and foster innovation. However, in industries where natural monopolies exist, such as utilities or railroads, competition might be limited and the potential benefits of privatization may be less pronounced. Application. The privatization of telecommunications in Mexico led to increased competition, which helped lower prices for consumers and increase access to mobile and internet services across the country. Number 5. The impact on employment. Privatization can lead to significant changes in employment. While private companies may improve efficiency and productivity, they often do so by reducing their labor force, implementing cost-cutting measures, and automating operations. This can lead to job losses in the short term, particularly in industries that were heavily dependent on government subsidies or protections. Application. The privatization of state-owned rail companies in various countries has led to job cuts as private operators often streamline operations to reduce costs and increase profitability. Number 6. Fiscal impact, revenue generation versus long-term gains. Privatization can generate immediate revenue for governments, particularly through the sale of state-owned assets. This revenue can be used to pay down national debt or fund public programs. However, some critics argue that the long-term economic benefits of privatization may not always outweigh the initial revenue gain from asset sales, particularly if privatization leads to the loss of public control over key sectors. Application: in Russia, the privatization of state assets during the 1990s led to a temporary windfall for the government, but the long-term economic impact was mixed due to the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few oligarchs. Number 7. Public welfare and access to services. A significant concern with privatization is its impact on public welfare, particularly in essential sectors like healthcare, education, and water. Privatization can lead to improved service efficiency, but it may also increase costs for consumers, particularly if profit-driven firms prioritize high-income customers and neglect lower-income groups. In sectors like healthcare, privatization may exacerbate inequality by limiting access to affordable services for vulnerable populations. Application: the privatization of water services in Bolivia led to significant price increases, sparking protests and concerns about equitable access to clean water for poorer communities. Number 8. Income inequality and distributional effects. Privatization can exacerbate income inequality if the wealth generated from the sale of state-owned enterprises is concentrated among a small group of individuals or corporations. This can lead to social unrest and dissatisfaction, particularly if privatization is perceived as benefiting the elite while marginalizing the broader population. Application: in some post-Soviet states, privatization was associated with the rise of oligarchs, who gained control of previously state-owned industries and amassed vast wealth, while the general population saw little benefit. Number 9. Political and social consequences. The privatization process can have political and social consequences, particularly if it is perceived as being implemented without adequate transparency, fairness, or accountability. Public resistance to privatization is often fueled by concerns over job losses, higher prices, and the erosion of public control over essential services. In some cases, privatization can lead to social unrest or political instability. Application: in Greece, the privatization of state-owned enterprises under the pressure of the European Union's austerity measures sparked widespread protests and political opposition. Number 10. The role of foreign investment in privatization. Privatization often opens the door to foreign investment, as private companies, both domestic and international, seek opportunities to acquire valuable state assets. While foreign investment can bring capital, technology, and expertise to industries, it can also lead to concerns about national sovereignty, especially if foreign ownership becomes dominant in key sectors like energy, telecommunications, or natural resources. Application: in Argentina, the privatization of its oil and gas industry led to significant foreign investment, but there were concerns about the long-term control of the country's energy resources by multinational corporations.